When the narcissist would have discarded you, it would have followed a long period of devaluation where your sense of confidence, self esteem, self worth would have been at an all time low. And if they didn't discard you, then chances are they would have pushed you away. You would have felt you had no choice but just to walk away, and seemingly they wouldn't have cared. You only reach that point with them when they feel you have nothing left to offer them by way of supply. Like, your praise, your attention towards them doesn't really validate them anymore the way it used to. The novelty of you has worn off, and they just don't really care about you anymore, and you don't have much to offer. So after a long and steady devaluation, which of course they would have reaped some supply from, they end up discarding you, or you end up leaving them. And in the back of their mind, you're going to stay in that very negative place. You're going to stay in that dark place. And they rely on you being there. They rely on you staying in that dark place to to help them feel better about themselves, to help them feel better about the breakup, to help them feel better about pushing you away. It's just that sense of betterness versus you, that sense of superiority. They need to know that you are not doing well in their absence. Just a just a side note, if you like these videos and you haven't subscribed, please do. That way you will get notified of future videos. And yeah, if you also like the videos, that's good because that does help. Um, the channel helps the videos be shown to more people. So yeah, if you have a moment, that'd be appreciated. But back to the narcissist, when they leave you, they're convinced that they've done a good enough job at devaluing you that you won't ever properly bounce out of it. And this is where their overconfidence gets the better of them. And this is also why they keep tabs on you, because they want to make sure that they're right. They want to make sure that you're never going to do better. You're never going to be fine without them. But what so often happens is when the narcissist discards you, after a few weeks, months, years, whatever the time frame, they they notice either through direct observation or through other people, the flying monkeys, that you're happy again, that you're leading a productive life, that your sense of independence and confidence is right where it should be, that you have loving people in your life, that maybe you're creating a family if you didn't have one before, or you just don't need them anymore and you're not thinking about them anymore, and certainly you don't want them back. When they see that you reach that point, that you've completely moved on, and they kind of remember the good things that you once offered them, that can very often trigger them in a very deep way. In a sense, they almost feel like you've beat them, that they failed, and they really can't process that feeling of losing. They can't really digest and process the thought that somebody else, in the grander scheme of things, just you know is has come out on top. So what that causes is they feel they need to level the playing ground. They need to set the record straight, or set the score straight rather, in a sense that they need to put you back in your place. And otherwise, they can't ever really feel good about themselves. It's almost like you doing better than them is a threat to their existence, or integrity of feeling okay. And that's where they start to hoover you. That's where they start to try to find a way to subtly to work their way back in your life. Maybe to get you to trust them again. Maybe to get to bring things back to where they once were, when things were good, you know, long, long time ago during the love bombing, long, long time ago when they once idealized you and you could do no harm and they put you in the pedestal. They would love to bring things back to that point. Of course, they want you to go into that mindset again, you to be in in that fantasy place again, where everything's brilliant with them, and all those dreams of that day, you're dreaming about those things again, and the narcissist will be the cornerstone of your life again. They would really want to bring you back there, so they can regain control of your emotions. You're getting you dependent on them, so that they can then take you down again through another long series of devaluing remarks, behaviors, actions towards you. But this time, they'd want to make sure that they take you to even a deeper, darker place than the first time around, because they want to make sure that, well, if it took you 3 months to bounce out of the dark place they left you in the first time, well, this time they want to make sure, instead of 3 months, they want to keep you there 3 years. And they try to understand you better, to know what it takes to bring you down. And that's the only way that they can really be apart from you. Like, if you were ever somebody who was meaningful to them in their life, if you were ever somebody who was an important supply, somebody who really played a substantial role in their life, the moment that you're gone, they need to know that they're doing better than you. And if they think you're not in a sufferable place, if they think that you are doing well, they just they ruminate and they obsess over ways of trying to get you back, but not because they want you back, but getting you back into their life, or working their way back into your life, is the first major step, so that they can then devalue you again and go through the same cycle, this time worse. But it's just the way the narcissist mind works around needing to feel better than the other person. You being someone who they've once felt competitive towards, and they've been pleased that they once got the better of you. Knowing that the tables have shifted is not something that they can easily process, digest, accept. And unless they can put you back down, they have this sense of, of a loss of control over the situation, and hence a loss of control over themselves, a loss of control over their thoughts. They ruminate, they obsess, they constantly think about how can they get you back, or how can they regain your trust, or how can they make you believe they've changed, or how can they make you believe that you can still change them, or how can they make you believe that you two are destined to be together, or infinite other things that might be a means of bringing you back together. They want to create that means to get you to entertain them again sufficiently, so that they can have a good round two with you, or if you've already had a round two, round three, and so on, so that they can bring you down. But when they don't have access to you, when they don't have an easy way to reach you, that's when their mind it doesn't stop. When they might have some ideas, they get momentary relief, or they play out some things in their mind they want to do, but the matter of fact, they're not having any tangible impact. They're not having any real impact, any material impact. And without doing that, they have this sense of control, which is just lost. And they don't like not feeling in control, because unless they can control the situation, control you, a meaningful persona in their life, that residual connection, which, they can only be satisfied with you being afar if you're doing worse than them. It's just they have this tendency to ruminate, and it's just like you're just waiting for them to make that move. But when you don't entertain them, and they know that you won't entertain them, they just get lost in their heads. And it's really pathetic, because they'll look for other supplies out there. They'll look for other people who they can hook in, and then devalue to feel good about themselves. But you will really, the thought that they can't reach you the way they want, they can't set the record straight the way they want, and make sure that you're clearly in an inferior position to them the way they want, really it just eats at them. And if you talk to people, or if you are, in living with them in a sense where you can observe them, if you interact with them in your day-to-day life in a sense where you can observe them, you notice these things, even if it's very kind of subtle, but you notice it. So of course you shouldn't entertain the hoovers. Of course you should do the best with your life. But it's interesting the way they get caught up in their own thinking and minds, and the way that unless they can control other people, they have this lack of control over themselves. And it's in a way it's fascinating, but it just shows that the two things you need to work on, not work on, the two things you need to continue to focus on is just A, um, ignoring them, and B, just doing your shit really. And that's really it.